This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian.
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy James.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hello, my friends. This is Alyssa Marino, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with Alyssa Marino.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on. This is awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. And where can we listen to Alyssa next?
Yes, so you can find me on all social media at AYY_Marino. I do commentary and ring announcing for places like Women's Wrestling Army, which you can watch on Pro Wrestling TV, for Beyond and Grind, Blitzkrieg Pro, a couple more others around there, Combat Fights Unlimited. You can find all those on IWTV, as well as I do commentary for Capital Championship Wrestling, which is over on Title Match Network. I also do a podcast with Ella J as part of Capital Championship Wrestling. It's called In and Out the Locker Room, and that debuts on YouTube as well as wherever you get your podcasts. We are on a little hiatus right now, but we are kicking things back into gear next month.
All right, and you don't even have to go looking for any of those links. All of those, the links to all our social media, and will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox.
Fabulous.
All right, like you said, you work for CCW. Can you tell us about your relationship with the company and Marcello?
Yeah, oh my God. I absolutely love what Marcello's been doing over at Capital Championship Wrestling. It has been really wonderful to see so many amazing matchups and women from all over the place that we're getting to see in some first-time bouts. And it's just really, really exciting to see kind of the platform that they have created there. Just had an awesome show not too long ago. They have one that's actually coming up on March 11th. It's going to be over in New Jersey, and just really, really has been awesome to see all of the talent kind of uniting over at Capitol. And yeah, just love the support, love the love, and everything that Marcello's been doing.
Like you said, Battle of the Drone tournament is going to be on March 11th. I believe you could check that out on Title Match Network. Well, you'll be on the call.
Absolutely.
That being said, it is a stacked tournament. Who do you got?
Oh, that's tough. And as an unbiased broadcaster, I definitely need to, reserve my predictions. But I just love the fact that we're seeing so many amazing announcements that are coming up for not only for Battle of the Throne, but just for upcoming events at Capital Championship Wrestling as well. I saw that there was, the recent announcement of Miyu Yamashita. There's Killer Kelly coming out. Yeah. There's a lot of really amazing talent that's going to be coming for upcoming events. For the Battle of the Throne, I don't know. It's so tough. I mean, I'm gonna reserve my potential predictions, but definitely fans will not want to miss, because there's a lot of amazing talent that's going to be showing up for the battle.
I believe the last CCW event, Victory, it was recorded for a documentary, a movie.
Yeah, so there actually is, if you're following along with CCW Action, which is where Capital Championship Wrestling is on all social media platforms, they are recording where they are making a documentary as well as a like feature movie as well. So they're going to be sharing more details about that and when everything is going to be coming out. But yeah, they really have, between like the podcast and doing seminars and the documentary, and the victory film, there's just so many things, and this is what I love about Marcello and Capital Championship Wrestling, is there's so many things going on to really engage fans on every level, whether it's you want to watch just the documentary footage and maybe that turns you on to watching the wrestling event. If you just want to see a really cool story in the form of a film, we have that as well. So there's really a little bit of everything.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely seems like, for the short amount of time CCW has been around, it really made a big impression.
It certainly did. They hit the ground running, and there's been no stopping them.
Absolutely. All right. Can you tell us about Let's Get Serial?
So Let's Get Serial was actually my podcast that when I was first getting into wrestling, I kind of started this show. It started out on social media with me doing little reviews and giving, as a self-proclaimed serial expert and enthusiast, I liked to give my ratings and, I would give like numerical gradings to serials that people would share online. And then it turned into an interview show where every time I went to a show, at the time I was working a lot in LA, Arizona, Vegas, I would bring Serial with me to shows, sit down with talent, and we would just have a little chat. It was kind of like breakfast at any time of the day. And again, that's kind of taken a little bit of the back burner. I was a little bit, got super busy at the very beginning of 2020, and then it came back as sort of a remote Zoom call experience. Took a little bit of a Exactly, like everything was. And took a little bit of a break to just delve into more broadcasting projects and things of the like. I do keep kind of playing around with the idea of bringing it back. I don't know if I would still keep it in the virtual form, just because it's tough now when I go to shows, because most of the time I spend getting notes or preparing things for whatever job I'm doing that night. And I don't know if I just used to get to shows super duper early or what the heck it was, but it just seems like it's been a little tricky to try and juggle it all. But that's definitely one of my goals that I want for the next coming months, to try and bring it back in the year 2023.
Yeah, it seems like you're like really busy between commentary, announcing, interviewing.
There's always something going on.
Yeah, and you're interviewing on two different formats, the In and Out of the Locker Room and Let's Get Serial.
Yeah, exactly, which is why I think I kind of prioritized In and Out the Locker Room, so to try and get guests for that and talk to talent that's either part of Capital Championship Wrestling or that is prospective talent for Capital Championship Wrestling. It's kind of like Let's Get Serial kind of took a little bit of the back seat, but I do still love Serial. I do still enjoy Serial. I do still talk about it on social media. So maybe it's time for me to just start doing it on camera again.
Well, as of recently you kind of did like a mini Let's Get Serial on Instagram as of recently with the Great British Snack Hall.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little bit of a short form variation where it still involves snacking and talking about food, which is just something I really love doing. So that kind of worked out in a really just like short, easily digestible 1 minute little piece. So it's kind of like adapting the forms of media that people are enjoying and seeing what new stuff I could possibly produce.
Were those the British Snack Hall? Where did you get those treats, those snacks?
So there actually is a shop in New Jersey that's like a British gift shop. So I found a lot of stuff over there, but then there's actually, I think it's called uktreats.com or something like that. But it was a bunch of like a British snack site that you can just order things and ship out. So it's the British cake shop, something like that. But yeah, it was all like British snack shops too.
That sounds really interesting.
It's so fun, and I love the idea of just being able to explore other cultures through through food. So then it's like, meeting people from all over the world through wrestling and being able to talk to them about, hey, but like, what kind of snacks do you guys like? Or what's, what goes good with this? Or like when you are done having a long weekend, how do you like to unwind? Like what snacks are, in your bag, stuff like that. So just different ways to connect.
No, absolutely. Because one of the main questions when somebody travels somewhere else other than America here, when we have them on the show, is what are you eating there? Like, you wrestled in Denmark, but what are you eating in Denmark? You know what I mean?
I think I had that exact question. I interviewed my friend Heather on Let's Get Cereal, and I was like, "Well, how is the food?" So that is 100% definitely one of the top questions.
I mean, it should be. I mean, it's if you're going to experience a culture, then obviously food is the main top thing on that list.
Exactly. And it's like not everyone is going to want to go to a museum. Not everyone's going to want to go to the beach. Not everyone's going to want to do some of the like more typical touristy things, but like everyone's going to want to eat.
Yes.
So.
The Great British Snack Hall. Which one out of everything that you got, which was your favorite?
Ooh, there was I actually kind of cheated because I had tried it in the past, but I'm just a huge fan is the Curly Whirly bars. Anything that involves chocolate and caramel, sign me up. Just easy peasy. But as for a new snack that kind of pleasantly surprised me because I had not enjoyed it in the past, jelly tots. They were really tasty. They were they almost reminded me of, what is it, dots, I think they're called, like the gummy dots, but they weren't, they tasted like a natural sweetness as opposed to like a super heavy, overly sugary sweetness. So I really enjoyed those as well.
All right. Now we've been talking Let's Get Cereal. Can you tell us about Let's Get Coffee?
Oh, Let's Get Coffee, my one-off episode that I did with Vipress down in Florida. I think it was Mania week of, what was that, 2020? Yeah, it was down in Tampa. And our whole quest, the entire episode, was me trying to interview her and her saying, not until I've had my coffee. But then when she finally did get her coffee, which was a very elaborate order, may I also say, you can watch that episode on YouTube. And it is a very intense and in-depth order that she has over at Starbucks. She still didn't talk to me. So, it was kind of rude, but it's part of Vipress's charm.
It seemed like nobody wanted to talk to you on that trip.
I know, it was kind of rough. And then her and Andy were kind of getting into it. I was like, gosh, guys, come on. So funny. I haven't thought about that in a while, so I'm actually going to go back and watch that one. That was funny.
It was. I definitely found it interesting.
So silly.
All right. Can you tell us about your co-host and commentating partner, Ella Jane?
Ella J is awesome. And I am honestly, from the first time we worked together, I just felt like, I think she was very new to commentary and felt like such a natural. Her instincts were great. It was amazing to share the call with her, and then getting to do the interview show with her, getting to do In and Out the Locker Room with her. She is so insightful. She is so smart. The level of which she invests her time and energy into researching and figuring out the deepest dive questions to ask people when we have them on the show. I'm just ever so impressed with her all the time. She is doing absolutely amazing things, and I'm really glad and grateful that Capital Championship Wrestling brought us together. She is someone that I had been following online back and forth, but to actually get to connect and work together and now call her a dear friend I'm very grateful for that. She's awesome.
Now, like you said, you've been doing In and Out of the Locker Room with her, opposed to Let's Get Cereal. What are some of the differences between, obviously this is CCW produced rather than doing your own thing?
I think the biggest difference is a lot of the time the subject matter. So for Let's Get Cereal, a lot of it was about the nostalgia of, cereal is something that you eat when you're a kid and it makes you feel, young and carefree. So I would like to ask people a lot about, like, what were you like as a kid? What was your, like, Saturday morning television lineup, or, just stuff along those lines. Whereas In and Out the Locker Room is a lot about the personal journey of the competitors that we're talking to. When did they get their start? How did they get their start? What have they been doing lately, whether it's in ring, out of the ring? What were maybe some of their challenges? What was the best advice that they ever received? So it's a lot more of a focus on the individual as well as their journey in wrestling. Whereas I feel like with Let's Get Cereal, a lot of the time, wrestling might not even come up. But it was just talking to wrestlers and getting to know them outside of the ring.
Right. Now, is there one interview where, you went into it thinking one thing, but it kind of played out very differently than you had expected?
I mean, I guess Let's Get Coffee, since I didn't even get my interview. No, I'm just kidding. There was one that I think I ended up taping during an episode or during a taping of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And I was talking with Andy Brown and Bateman. And I think at some point you could see it in like the bloopers at the very tail end of the episode. Like someone just ran by the camera, just like, it was very odd. I think they just kind of like crashed the set, so to speak. Very random stuff. But a lot of like the questions and answers, I think I wasn't expecting, but they are just so funny together that they had me cracking up. And obviously I'm supposed to be the one that's like, man in the helm sort of thing, but I was losing it laughing. So that I think was one of the top ones that comes to mind.
It's interesting, when describing Bateman, funny is not one of the
Not usually.
Yeah.
Not usually, no, but I think it's because of what Andy Brown brings out of Bateman that we might see him ever so slightly crack a smile. Although usually when he smiles, it's even more terrifying. So, yeah, that's can't explain that one to you.
All right. Now you've interviewed, a who's who at this point. Is there anybody that you haven't interviewed for whatever reason haven't had them on but want to interview? And do you have, the all-time mecca interview that you really want?
So I am very lucky, and one of my dream guests I actually did get to connect with, and that was Renee Paquette. I absolutely am. I was overjoyed that I got the chance to speak with her. She was an absolute delight. And I feel, like I said, just very, very lucky that I had a chance to speak with her. It was right around the time that she had launched her cookbook. So it was great to kind of talk to her about food, just like we were saying, just kind of a very easy topic to discuss with anyone, just because it's so delightful. But I have to say someone that I've wanted to have on just because I know that they're a big cereal fan is Alex Shelley. And I have not had him on. Like I said, right now I know I'm on the hiatus, but when I do get things kind of back and rolling, I would absolutely love to have Alex Shelley on to shoot the breeze about cereal.
Now, do you have like a big name crazy fantasy interview?
I think I try not to have those because I just want to see what happens. Like I want to be really pleasantly surprised if something were to fall into place with like this wild outrageous. Like that was Renee Paquette for me, was my aspirational interview moment. So the fact that I got that, like, I'm happy. I'm not going to go wild with anything else.
So you're not going to be like you're going to be pleasantly surprised if you get Undertaker on Let's Get Cereal.
Sure, exactly. Like I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna put all my eggs in any single baskets. I just want to kind of like see where it takes me.
All right. you worked center stage, no?
I did, yes. That was an awesome experience. That was with Championship Wrestling in Atlanta.
What was that experience like? Because that building has some, some history to it.
Yeah, definitely. It was really cool to be in the building and really to be around the talent and the crew and my fellow broadcasters because like everyone could feel it. So it was really cool to just share that with the whole team and to see, so many new talents and so many first time matchups within that building. So it was really, really special.
All right. Can you tell us about that one video where you traveled to the supermarket?
Oh, that was a fun one. I just tried to kind of come up with different ideas of kind of the idea of almost like a behind the scenes of like, hey, this is what it goes into, and this is like my inner monologue that happens while I'm trying to pick out cereals. I think you really get to see in that video just how much of a like ferret I am, where it's like, oh, something shiny. Oh, what's this? Oh, what's that? Oh, should I bleach my hair? Just like silly things like that. But just to kind of be able to give people a little bit of more insight into who I am as opposed to just the cereal. So that was the whole idea behind that.
And you didn't get milk.
Of all the things, right? It's just that's part of it, is that I'll spend so much time, figuring out every little piece of one particular thing, which is, I guess, why I don't have like one particular interview that I want, is because I'm afraid, like at the end of the day, well, what if I forget the milk,
What? Now, was that just one take in a supermarket? No permission, per se?
I definitely didn't get permission. I was trying to just be as sneaky as humanly possible. I also, obviously don't have like a big setup, so it was just me with my phone, kind of like dipping and dodging around. But that was just it was just me and the phone roaming around the supermarket.
As somebody that has recorded content in a supermarket, I respect that.
Thank you. And you know what? That wasn't even the only supermarket one that I did. When we had Scorpio Sky pick out his first cereal in like years, it had been like a decade since he had eaten a bowl of cereal. We recorded in the supermarket as well because we had to see like how he picked out the eventual cereal of choice.
I feel like that's like a very, on the edge of your seat moment.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like, what's it going to be? It had been so long. So yes, that was definitely crucial.
Now, can you tell us about working for WWE? You were part of NXT for a short while. What's your mindset going into WWE? Because, as anybody in pro wrestling, obviously that's the main goal. So was you like, yeah, I made it, I reached the pinnacle, or what was your mindset going into WWE?
I honestly don't feel like I had time to register it. I think it was just kind of like, okay, this is the new thing, let's go. So I don't think I really took time to realize like, oh wow, like I'm here. I think I kind of had this like laser focus of, hey, this is the new job. This is the mission. Like, let's knock it out of the park kind of thing. So I feel like there was so much stuff to keep me busy and to keep me focused that I didn't really take the step back to be like, oh my gosh, like I'm working for WWE right now. Like this is wild. So I think mindset going into it was just like, wow, like this is a huge opportunity. Like we need to do our best. So I think that was kind of like what I was telling myself going into that.
Now, well, hindsight being 2020, it was roughly 3 years ago. With all the experience and everything you know now, how do you look back on that time?
I definitely look back on it fondly. Like I had really great mentors and learned a ton that I think I still bring to what I do now on the independent scene. So it was definitely a really cool, really eye-opening experience that I think helped to shape who I am as a broadcaster. I've got to connect with a lot of really cool people. yeah, so overall, it was just like a really great experience.
Maybe get a longer reply from Solid Phil this time.
I feel like she did say a little bit more than I have in the clip on my reel, but yes, maybe someday.
Now afterwards, you did get released by WWE. And during a pandemic, no less. What was your mindset afterwards? After leaving WWE, is it okay? Back to the independents. Okay, how do I get back to WWE? Is wrestling still in my future? What was going on in your mind at that time?
Honestly, at that time, I feel like there was so much other stuff, that wasn't even wrestling related. It's,
Right.
how is my family? How is, the world? Are we ever going to, bounce back from any of this, So I think that there was so much other stuff that I think what I fell back on was relaunching Let's Get Serial, because I feel like it gave me something to keep my mind occupied. It gave me a way to, connect with friends that I hadn't seen. So I actually don't think I was even really thinking about, what was next for me in wrestling. It was basically like stay sane, and I think just making sure that I was like staying connected, because at the time I was on my own. I was still in Florida, and I think for me it was just the importance of maintaining a connection with my friends, my family, staying in touch with my loved ones, and really just making sure we were all checking in on one another. I think eventually when it did come the time where stuff was starting to run again, it was, because I had kept in touch with people, kind of that idea of, okay, well, if you guys are going to run again, do you think that I could be part of it? Because I don't think that I ever lost the desire to be involved in wrestling and to be in a part of wrestling. It was just a matter of, what was even going to be happening? What was the whole atmosphere going to look like? So that was once things did kind of come back into a more regular feeling of running, it was like a no-brainer. It was just kind of like falling right back into it.
Okay. Now, you don't have to answer this next question if you don't want to. You could say pass. But could you tell us about a tweet you made that Corey Graves responded to?
Oh, so, and to this day, I find it to be just so funny, because I had been watching I don't even remember where it was from, but it maybe had like 50 views, but I forget even what competitor it was, but I wanted to find a match of theirs, and the only thing I could find on YouTube was this particular thing. And the commentary rubbed me the wrong way. And I tweeted about just how much I like to work on commentary, and it blew up and had nothing to do with some of the people that made it as viral as it was. Yeah, so to this day, I feel very bad that it was so misinterpreted, and I have learned my lesson about never making, I think they're called subtweets, is what the kids call them. I don't subtly try and spare anything. Actually, I don't really give opinions much anymore, because that was really, really misinterpreted, and I felt very anxious and awful with how it all went. But I stand by the fact that I like to put a lot of effort into my commentary, and the overall sentiment is I stand behind, but the fact that I was not clear and it got misinterpreted, I do feel terrible about, because that, was not about that at all.
I mean, like you said, you should put effort in commentary, absolutely. But it was kind of mean that he was even seeing, like, you never mentioned him. You never mentioned him. So, what was that reaction to? He's reading my Twitter.
I mean, I felt bad because I was bummed out. I was like, oh, dang, what? That's not what that was about. But at the same time, I felt so like crippled and like scared to say anything at all. Cause I was like, oh, well, what if I say something else and I make it worse? So I just didn't say anything, but I was like legitimately kind of bummed out that it went that way. I was like, oh no, no, that wasn't, oh man. And then I just kind of like retreated from there. But yeah, that was definitely like, wait, what? What's happening? That was very, very wild in hindsight.
I mean, it's like this has nothing to do with you, and yet you responded. you responded.
I have no idea. I think people might have probably people like tagged him in comments or something like that. It got a lot of traction. So I was like, oh, that's probably what happened. I don't think he like went looking for it by any means. So yeah, just I guess a happy accident that he stumbled across. But yeah, that was a bummer.
Right. Well, I think it's time for that segment once again. Alyssa's Bizarre Adventure. You're in the pro wrestling world and crazy and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
Oh my gosh, I wish I was better prepared for this. Hold on. I know there's got to be something. And of course, as soon as you say it, I'm going to blank out completely. Oh man. I know I'm forgetting like a really fun. Oh, okay. Here's one. Okay, here we go. Okay. So it is myself, Andy Brown, and my fellow broadcast partner, Johnny Torres. We are driving back from Limitless Wrestling in Maine, and we are driving back to Massachusetts because we are staying with friends in Massachusetts. Still like about a 3.5 hour drive. And this is in January, and we're driving down the road, and I'm in the back seat. Andy and Johnny are up in the front seat, and Andy's driving, and we are driving along. And Andy, he's not like a speed demon by any means, but he likes to go with gusto. And whoop, whoop, we see the flashing lights and we're getting pulled over. He's like,
oh no.
Dang it. Is he coming for me? Yes, he is. Crap. So he pulls over, cop pulls us over, and the cop's like, hey, where are you guys going? What's going on? Andy's like, oh, we're coming from a pro wrestling show. And the cop goes, pro wrestling, like WWE stuff? Andy's like, yeah. And of course the cop asked for, he's like, you were going pretty fast. Where are you heading to? You're heading to Massachusetts? Massachusetts, that's really far. So we're going from Maine to Massachusetts. He's like, well, you have Florida plates and your license is from California. What's happening? And Andy had never updated his license, and he lived with me in Florida. We moved to Pennsylvania, and he had never updated his license because he just never thought to do it. So he's explained to the cop, oh, we moved around and whatever. Cop's like, okay, well let me check your stuff. Pro wrestling, that's really cool. Let me go check your stuff. I'll be back. So we're like, oh my God, if this cop lets us go. And then Andy's like, I swear I'll drive 70 the whole way home. I was like, okay, cool. Cop comes back and goes, all right, so did you know your license was expired? And he goes, what? And I think that just the genuine tone of his voice, he really had no idea. The cop was like, yeah. So not going to get you on that one, but is there anyone else in the car that can drive? And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, it's our car, we share it. I'll drive. And the cop looks at, he's like, okay, well, I need your license. I give the cop my license. He goes, well, you have a Pennsylvania license and you got Florida plates. What is happening here? So I have to give him this whole story about how like unfit of a human I am, and I'm a terrible adult, and my title for my car got lost in the mail, and they delayed in sending it, and now I can't get my new. I'm like rambling on and on. I'm so nervous. Everything is awful, and I'm just like, oh gosh, just like please, we don't want to take, we don't want any trouble, and sure enough, he's like, all right, get in the car, just get that stuff all figured out. He points to Andy. He's like, you get a new license. And, slow down, drive safe. And he lets us go. Now, at this point, I am counting my lucky stars. We are so, oh, thank goodness. And I'm like, hey, but now I I got really nervous and I had to nervous pee. And of course, the first place we stop at, everything is locked up and there are no restrooms available. And it was a struggle, but we made it home safe and sound. And that was my bizarre road story.
I mean, that's a good story because, you know, no, tickets for adults.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was really an eye opener of like, hey, Alyssa, you need to get your crap together. But yeah, I was just very glad it had a happy ending.
Yes. All right. Good story.
Yeah.
Now you were an opera singer.
I was, yes.
Can you tell us about that? Because, you know, I'm of the mind of never ask, you know, how you got into wrestling. You know, that's a taboo thing on this show. Never say it. But how do you get into opera?
Yeah, so I actually grew up listening to opera with like both sets of my grandparents, my parents, everyone, you know, enjoyed it. And I guess from a very young age, like before I could speak, I was like singing little tunes and making noises. So my parents got me enrolled in voice lessons when I was like 12 years old. And I sang all through high school, ended up going to college and getting my degree in vocal performance. And, you know, I did a lot of operas through college. I auditioned for like young artist programs to like kind of continue my education in opera. I did, I think, 1 or 2 operas after college and then just kind of like went into, you know, just the working world until, you know, I found wrestling. But, yeah, it was kind of a crazy time. And I still do enjoy, I still have like all my books of music that I'll break out every now and then when I just feel like, you know, just singing or feel like hearing a certain song, or, you know, sometimes I'll play like YouTube videos along with like a musical score and I'll like read along with it. It's kind of fun to me every now and then, but I definitely don't do it as much as I used to. But yeah, that was my time in opera.
Was being an opera singer the goal before wrestling entered?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that once I was pursuing it in school, it was the idea of like, I knew I wasn't as totally all about it as my colleagues and my you know, fellow students were, but I always thought it would be like so amazing, like, oh my gosh, I could to travel the world and be able to do, you know, the singing thing. I think that was always just something I thought would be really, really amazing to do.
Now, opera is, what was maybe the most challenging song to sing?
And there's a very challenging song that I, to this day, have never been able to sing. It's called the Queen of the Night aria from The Magic Flute by Mozart. And I'm like a Mozart girl. Like Mozart and me, we are best pals. But yeah, the Magic Flute was very, very challenging. And it's something I like played around with trying to do, but it was very, very high register and like a lot of like bouncing around the notes, and never was able to quite nail it. But yeah, that was definitely like the epitome. And it's a very popular song, but yeah, definitely something I don't think I would ever, I mean, I never say never, but yeah, definitely something I've not to this day been able to achieve.
Now, a lot of opera songs are not in English; they're in different languages. So I believe Latin and Italian are the 2 main.
So, oh my gosh, there's everything. A lot of Italian. The song that I just mentioned is usually in German. French is huge. But I mean, there's is it Polish? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different languages out there. But when I was in school, I had to take a year of German, a year of French, and a year of Italian for my major.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's not like, you know, hey, I could sing this ditty on the radio. It's like you literally this is homework. You have to learn words that you didn't know before.
Exactly, because you have to make sure that it makes sense. Like, you know, because so much of opera isn't just hitting the notes, it's telling the story. So you need to make sure that the tone of your voice, the expression on your face matches the story that you're telling and what's going on over, because you don't even have to just study what do the words mean, but it's like what's happening in the context of this opera that I'm reacting to, because a lot of the time the arias that we're singing are reactions to something that's happening. So, or thinking about something that might happen. So it's just there's a lot of elements of that.
So there's a degree of acting to it as well.
Absolutely. It's all about it.
What did you learn in opera? Because obviously you're learning like a lot of new skills in that area that helped you in your pro wrestling career.
I think honestly one of the biggest things is projection and being able to kind of project my voice and protect it to the best degree that I can with how I breathe and how I use my breath, especially when ring announcing. I'll notice I like default back to some of like the things I used to do when I sang. So I think that's a huge one. Another element, especially with commentary, is improv. I think there was a degree of improv and acting that I had learned in college, and being able to, bounce things off of a broadcast partner and kind of yes and with them. It's like if they say something that's kind of like, oh, okay, that's where we're going with this story. Like, I'm down. Like, let's go. Like, let's bounce things off of one another and tell the stories that the wrestlers are expressing. So I think those are like two definite keys that have factored into the pro wrestling world for me.
What's your favorite song?
Ooh, my favorite opera is probably La Boheme, and my favorite song is it's Quando Men Vo is probably the one. It's again another pretty popular song, and it's from La Boheme. That's probably one of my favorites.
Can you maybe sing a little bit for us?
Oh my God! Not when I'm not warmed up, but maybe at a later time I would.
Fair enough. But like are you fluent in Italian? Like,
definitely not fluent. I combined with high school and college, I probably had about 5 years of it, but it's definitely one of those things, if you don't use it, you lose it. They say that about language. I do love studying different languages. I don't feel 100% confident in any of the ones except English, but I do just love learning them, and I think I can kind of try and get by. But it's like, of course, learning it off of like an app on my phone versus having a conversation with a native speaker is totally different. So I don't think my confidence is there just yet in any language.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely something I would love to have.
So saving those different language overseas interviews for another time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's maybe someday.
All right. I think that's a great segue into the next question, the colossal question. They're making a movie about you. It's going to be a big production. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on the Alyssa Marino movie soundtrack?
The first song that I think would open up everything would probably be Crown on the Ground by Sleigh Bells, because I love that song so much. It has a really great high energy. It would, I think, really just start things off with a proverbial bang. And it's a feel-good song. I think it would make people want to tune in. And also, when I did make entrances in pro wrestling, that was the song that would play. Like, as a broadcaster, if I get an entrance, it would be that song. So yeah, that would definitely be number 1. I feel like a song that would have to factor in, just because over the now probably like 15-20 years that it's probably been out, I hope I'm wrong with those numbers, I never got sick of it, is the song Float On by Modest Mouse.
Okay.
It's not even, it doesn't have a special significance to me. I just always was impressed with the fact that no matter how many times I heard that song, I was always happy to hear it. And I think that, yeah, that would be a really great one to play. Oh man, what would be my third song? I'm like over here looking up my like Spotify. Like, what do I even listen to? Those are the 2 that come off the top of my head. I don't know, my musical tastes otherwise are just like, it's God, whatever day of the week it is, like I have a different song playing in my head. So I think I would reserve my third as like a rotating one, because I feel like I could just plop something new in there every time. So I'll leave that one open. But yeah, definitely those first two would have to play.
All right, fair enough. Now that we got the soundtrack down, who plays you? And you can't say yourself because you're obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
Oh my gosh, of course. Who would I pick to play me? Just because I adore her, and someone told me I looked like her in the past, and I took it as like the greatest compliment in the world, was Kate Winslet.
Okay. Yeah.
I think she's wonderful. So yeah, that would be really cool. I would co-sign that.
Now, every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be 3 people in your movie, and who would play them?
Oh no, this is hard. Oh my God. Okay. Let me look up her name because I can't remember what her name is. I think my mom would be played by, blanking out. It's this British actress. She's gorgeous. Emma Thompson, maybe? I feel like would be a great version of my mom.
Okay.
I don't know who would play Andy Brown. Maybe I'd have Andy Brown play himself. I'll make the cameo, but he can play himself opposite Kate Winslet. I think that would be dope. And I'm trying to find the right person that would play my dad. Oh my God, this is so funny. But my dad, people always think that Keegan-Michael Key looks like my dad. So I would have Keegan-Michael Key play my dad. And that would be awesome. Okay, yes. Andy Brown as himself. And yes, Keegan-Michael Key and Emma Thompson.
I feel like
this is really shaping up into one hell of a movie. I like this.
It is sounding like a great movie. And you could pre-order the tickets now.
Yes, thank you. Go to eventbrite.com. No, I'm just kidding. For the big premiere.
The red carpet, Stanley's going to be there now. Let's talk about Andy. You are in the same profession. What are some of the advantages and disadvantages?
I will say that some of the biggest advantages are that we understand the schedule. There's never I think sometimes it can be tough because a lot of what we do is on, nights and weekends, and it's never a question. It's like, hey, if there's a booking opportunity, usually, hopefully we're both on it. And if not, like each of us understands like, hey, like, no, this is what you want to do. Like, you're cool, enjoy, do your thing. And crush it. So I think that the understanding of what we both do is top. It's key. I think the fact that we can bring our doubts, whether it's about our performance or, oh, do you think that this was good? Or do you think I did this all right? And we know that we're going to give each other helpful and honest critique, I think is huge, because we know what to look for. Like Andy's given me great feedback on commentary that I've done, and that I don't think I could have gotten from someone that wasn't a part of the industry and a part of it for as long as he's been. I think that those are like the huge, like, super advantages of it. I think disadvantages is like, we don't really get to vacation together. Like our vacations are, doing a loop together. We're not going to, we're not going to the beach unless we're doing a show at the beach. So I think that that's probably the only disadvantage that I would say. But overall, just like the understanding and the way that we can support one another, knowing what the job entails is it's great.
Now, this interview was obviously not going to have some type of question about Serial. How deep does your expertise go on Serial? Because like you were explaining the Great British Snack Hall, with great detail. So tell us about being a cereal expert.
So I will say that my cereal expertise has just come from long hours of eating cereal. I have no other qualifications to say anything that I say, but I'm an enthusiast. I enjoy it, and I I would say I have a descriptive language that I can use. I'm good at articulating how I feel about different flavors, different taste sensations, if you will. My overall knowledge is not super significant. It is not. There's not a ton to it, but I think I can be flowery enough that people might believe me. So that's that. That's how that works.
Now, are you like searching out, looking for like rare cereals? Do you have like a collection of cereal that you like? Is it like a collection, or is it just buy a box and eat it?
I mean, for the most part, it's buy a box and eat it. A lot of the time, it's like I'm not going to collect the cereal itself, but I do have like a collection of boxes that are, if they're super rare or if they came from another country or something I don't think I'll be able to find again. I do still save those, and I'd love to do some kind of project with them, whether it be like a backdrop that I create or I don't know, something creative with the boxes. But haven't figured that out just yet. And but yeah, that's pretty much where the collecting part of it comes from. But for the most part, it's like I don't want to. It's not going to go bad. I'm going to eat it.
How much cereal do you go through a year?
Well, so when I was in like the depths of my Let's Get Cereal, when I was actually bringing it to shows, because I wouldn't just bring it for myself, I'd bring like 3 boxes to a show. I would say probably, oh God, like 50 maybe if I was working every weekend.
Oh, wow.
Possibly more. But a lot of the time too, like fans would bring cereal to shows and they would give me, like, I remember getting like a huge box of was it Oreo O's that I got from a fan in Cali, and I ended up bringing that. Like I had some of it at home, but I ended up like bringing it to a show so that I knew like friends could enjoy it too. So yeah, that was a cool little perk.
No, you do have the magic spoon bowl and spoon.
Yes, I do.
Does that enhance cereal eating at all?
It certainly makes it feel more magical. It doesn't really change the taste or anything, but the experience is definitely top notch.
Now, what's I feel like the milk is an important part of the cereal. What's some of the milks that you've experienced, that you experimented with? What are the best milks? What are the milks we should stay away from?
So I'm a little biased. I don't love milk, so I just drink almond milk. So without fail, it is always almond milk with anything that I do. I think that one time I did like a soy milk because I didn't have I was like traveling and I didn't have a way to get almond milk. So yeah, that I really haven't played around with many different milk choices. It's usually always almond milk for me. Yeah. No knocking any other milks. It's just not my cup of tea.
And have I know cereal first, milk second. There.
Always. Oh, always.
Have you ever tried the both at the same time method?
I am not coordinated enough to do that. It will literally go everywhere. I did one like ode to 316 day where I did like the Stone Cold with cereal and with jugs of almond milk. It was a mess. I'm not trying to like clean all that up again. So I don't have the coordination to do both.
Well, we were talking about British snacks. Is there special cereals from different countries that you've tried or have your eye on?
I tried, I'm going to forget what it's called, Nutri-Grain from Australia. A lot of Australian cereals that I've very much enjoyed. I definitely have to go through like my my collection. I'm trying to think. I can't remember any others that I got aside from. Oh, I didn't get it in like an overseas market, but Weetabix. Weetabix was awesome. I know that's very popular in like the UK. I had some Aussie friends that were also talking about it. That was definitely an important one that I got to got to try, and it was actually very, very tasty. So I would definitely highly recommend that. You can find it in certain supermarkets around the U.S. too.
So no Japanese yet?
Not yet. I definitely I don't have any particular ones that are on my list, but the idea of trying a cereal from Japan is very high on my list.
Because I know they come like in a bag rather than a box.
Yeah, so I would definitely be, again, it's all part of the experience. Definitely want to give that a whirl.
From what I hear, the green tea cereal is good.
Ooh, okay. Noted. Thank you.
The chocolate, the Hershey chocolate cereal is not good.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
If that makes any sense.
No, of course, yeah.
Alright. Can you tell us your love of the Power Rangers?
Oh my gosh, back in the day, I was a huge Power Rangers fan, and I'm an only child. My parents save everything, so I found my old collection and was just enjoying, kind of reminiscing. I guess the original, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I was so huge. I loved them. So it's always nice to take a little romp down memory lane.
What's your opinion on the Green Power Ranger?
Oh, I mean, like, obviously legend, a crazy story arc from what I recall. And I think Trini the Yellow Ranger was my favorite, but like it was such an ensemble, I couldn't ever discount Tommy the Green Ranger.
Well, I mean, I only asked because we've had some strong opinions on the Green Power Ranger.
I wish I remembered the Green Ranger and like the story more. I wish I did.
Well, apparently some people do remember and they do not like him.
That's a bummer. Didn't he like have his like redemption though? Like I know he did some crappy things, but then didn't he like turn good? I can't remember.
It's everybody's opinion on the matter, I suppose.
For sure. And we can all, we can agree to disagree, and I'm probably misremembering, but
Well, what's your opinion on Spaceballs?
Oh, Spaceballs, classic. One of my faves. Such a great movie, great one-liners. Another nostalgia bit that I just like feel good every time I watch it. It's amazing.
Is it just Spaceballs or just Mel Brooks movies as well?
Most Mel Brooks movies I will definitely be down to watch, but Spaceballs in particular I think is one of my that and Young Frankenstein are probably two of my favorites of his.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, for sure.
Ovaltine. I'm good.
Nothing. I'm a bit tired. So good.
That's my favorite part of that movie, and I don't know why I pop every time.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that like we never know why, but it's like once you get hooked on something, like every time you hear it, it's gonna make you laugh.
Yeah, and he was going to serve espresso.
Wait, where are you going? I was gonna serve espresso. Oh, I love it. I love it.
I mean, if that was shot today, Vipers would be right there.
Oh my gosh. I am gonna have to message her afterward and just be like, hey, I remember how you didn't talk to me, and I bet she won't talk to me, so who knows?
Yeah. And from one of her stable mates in the coven, it is a pet peeve that she drinks an abundance of coffee.
I mean, I also drink an overabundance of coffee, so I mean, I can't really speak there.
But I mean, is it as complicated as what Vipers is doing?
Oh yeah, my order is definitely not as complicated as hers is, but more power to her.
I mean, I've seen paintings with less extravagant details than that.
She likes what she likes.
Yes. So you're big Spaceball fans, but you don't like you've never seen Star Wars?
I have not seen all of the Star Wars movies. I saw, I think, what was it, like the four, 5, and 6, maybe, or however it worked. The ones that came out like back in the 70s. Like I've seen those, but I never saw anything else.
I mean, you're kind of missing out with 1, 2, and 3 because I mean those are fantastic, and I mean everything that's going on Disney Plus as well.
I know that I do think about that because I'm like, oh, like everybody is talking about this, and I have no idea the context of it. So maybe eventually I will end up going back and watching them.
All right. But can you tell us about your favorite book, Night Circus?
Night Circus is absolutely magical, and that is like literally and figuratively. It is a story. I can't remember the first time I read it, but it's become like my comfort story. So like if ever I'm like traveling, I've read it a bunch of times, but I love revisiting the story. It is it has a lot of my favorite elements of like any fiction, which is magic, a circus, and like clockworky steampunk elements. And it combines them all very well. Oh, and like 19th century Europe. It covers all of that.
Those are all great topics right now.
Exactly. And it has all of them in it. So sign me up. I will read it again and again.
So magic is a big thing for you.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. I'm a big fan of steampunk as well, but I kind of swapped it for cyberpunk at the moment, just because there's a lot of cyberpunk content out there right now.
Definitely.
All right. On to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stats? Love
it. I don't care who comes for me. I love pineapple on pizza. End of story.
Okay.
I have very, very strong opinions on pineapple on pizza.
Yes, more stronger opinions on pineapple on pizza than the Green Ranger, for sure.
Yeah, actually, yeah, sorry. But I will say, though, I'm not the kind of person that's like, if you don't like it, you're wrong. Like, you like what you like, but I like what I like. So I like pineapple on pizza.
All right. What's your spirit Pokemon?
Oh, gosh. I always liked... Which one turned into Ninetales? Was that Vulpix?
Eevee.
Eevee!
No. Ninetales was Vulpix, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then that. I always just thought it was just so pretty.
Okay. We love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for THUG? THUG.
No, I'm not going to pretend.
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail, because a Doug can't spell.
Very nice.
We love the late great Tracy Smothers, trying to keep the memory alive.
Love it.
Alright, weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever commentate a match with a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual Rock.
I would take it as a challenge to see how exciting I could make that match. So yeah, screw it. I would.
Alright, fantastic. Just for context, there is a wrestler named Psycho Mike that wrestled an actual Rock for over 15 minutes. In a Tungsten Man match, an Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
Sheesh.
And there was commentary for all 2 weeks.
Excellent. Good. As there should be.
Yes. He did not beat the Rock idol.
Dang.
Yeah.
I was rooting for him.
Yeah, they tied, and then the Rock was the champion, so he retained.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Alright, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I kind of like the interviews. I'm down for the surprise. I'm just kind of going with the flow and seeing where it takes me.
I love that answer.
Thanks.
And what's an interview people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what Alyssa Marino is all about?
I would say, let me see. If you were to go, okay, there was a really great episode of Let's Get Serial that I loved that I did with Jordan Blade. I can't remember what number episode it was, but if you look it up, I really loved that episode. I think you got like a really good insight into who Jordan is, telling her story. I love that episode a lot.
So not the one with Vipers?
Watch that one too, just for humor's sake. But no, watch the Jordan Blade one to get a little deeper dive into who she is.
Absolutely. And I will put the link to that specific interview in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox, for anybody that hasn't seen it, wants to see it.
Cool.
All right, and since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is our speed round, or bonus round, around where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Sami Zayn.
Worst wrestler.
Can't answer. Pass.
You will be given the default answer. You have chosen Eva Marie.
No! Aww. I don't like saying anyone's the worst.
Well, that's by popular majority was Eva Marie without even giving the default.
Understood.
All right. You're booking the main event of WrestleMania. Who are the 2 combatants?
Andy Brown and The Rock.
Sweet. The Rock from Psycho Mike, or the actual Rock?
The actual Rock, yes.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Samoa Joe. The dum 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 dum. Yeah.
Oh, the TNA the NXT D.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is
Alive and well.
We would have also accepted taste great on toast.
Ooh.
Squash. Vegetable or fruit?
Vegetable.
It's
I
a
think.
fruit.
What?
Yeah, it's tomato logic.
Interesting. Good to know.
But you're part of Squash Squad now, and that means a hell of a lot more.
Cool.
New Japan wrestler Taichi. His ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
7. No, I'm just kidding. 3/4.
3/4 sewing?
Oh no, 3/4 covering.
3/4 covering, okay. And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
No.
And that's the correct answer. And when I said I recorded content in a supermarket, I was asking random strangers in the supermarket if they knew who Darby Allin was.
There you have it.
Yes. But that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
This was a pleasure. Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Absolutely. Once again, where can we find all things Alyssa Marino on social media?
Everything is at AYY_Marino on all of the socials.
And you got merchandise?
Right now, it's just at shows, but if you contact me, I can try and find a way to get it to you.
Okay. And you don't need to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all of our social media will be in the description of the video below for our YouTube and Castbox. You've been listening to her for a little over an hour. Give her a damn follow and buy a damn short.
Let's go.
Of course, if you like, of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. We're on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Pale One Coffee. Join us next Tuesday and Wednesday as we interview AJ Kazana, and Wednesday Joe Kazana, and then the week after that Anthony Andrews. So all NWA next week. You can follow the show at Wrestling with E on Twitter and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. And you can follow me personally at JamesJ993. Alright, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
For our very special guest, Alyssa Marino, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.